Mm. Ha! I like that. Yo, Bill, what's up? Big Daddy Bill's in the house. Well, episode 122 of the Nooner. 122. Today we're going to be talking about 5 scary sales training statistics and what to do about it. I am your host. My name is David Bradley. This is the Nooner. Every weekday, give or take, Monday through Friday, I'm going to drop in here for a couple minutes and I'm going to deliver to you a noontime nugget about either sales, business, or life. The reason for that is that it's 12 o'clock noon here on the Pacific Coast, on the West Coast, 3 p.m. on the East. You know, you may be running out of fuel. Fuel is not just food that goes into your body. You need some fuel for the mind. So what I want to do is every single time I can pop in here, I want to deliver to you a noontime nugget, something about sales, business, or life that you can carry with you into the rest of your day, your week, your month, your year, your life. So 3 things you want to know about me. Number 1, I'm a sales and marketing manager with Grant Cardone. I've been working with Grant for the last 5 years. We help companies of all shapes and sizes. This is a company of 1 to 100,000. Increase production 15 to 30% simply by helping them find and then handle missed opportunity. We're going to be talking about 5 big opportunities for increased revenue, volume, and satisfaction today. If you've got a company of 1 or 100,000 or anything in between and you'd like to see how we can do that, how we've already done it for over 3,500 countries across the world, or companies, I will show you exactly what we're doing with them and see if it might be a fit for you. Reach out to me, 310-777-0352. That's my direct number. It's the bat phone. You can also email me, david@grantcardone.com. Say, hey, send me some more information. 2 other things on me. I'm the author of a book called How to Stop Smoking Without Killing Anyone. I smoked them cigarettes for 15 years. I could not quit. Tried many times to quit. Couldn't figure it out. But I did find a way to stop, and there's a big difference. So I wrote a book about it. It's called How to Stop Smoking Without Killing Anyone. That book was actually inspired or pushed into reality by my father, who actually just popped on the stream. So what's up, Dad? Thank you. Appreciate you being here. So look, if you got a monkey on your back, if you got a habit you need to kick, it doesn't have to be a smoking habit. It could be any habit that you know is not helpful for you, is destructive, is slowing your progress down. Check out that book. Visit stopdon'tquit.com for more information on that. If you want more information on Grant and what we do and you want to get in touch with me as well, check out cardonesolutions.com. That's my blog. I manage that. Third thing on me, founder of a hashtag called Rich Man's Gym. That's another blog that I manage. richmansgym.com. This is about home-based strength and conditioning for body, mind, and spirit. I'm a big proponent of self-made fitness, meaning like you don't have to go to the gym to get in the best shape of your life. You can do it in the backyard. You can do it in your garage, which is where I do most of my stuff. You can do it at the local park. You can do it down at the beach over here. There's some stairs you can run. Any place you can lug a kettlebell or some dumbbells or a set of Olympic rings that you can throw around a big fat oak tree. That is your Rich Man's Gym. It's 100% free, and you don't have to wipe up somebody else's sweat. There's no lines. Okay, and you got the beautiful air, and you're in nature, which is where I think we're supposed to be. What did Bill say? Bill left a comment. Bill says, just watch Grant doing 101 on Cardone Zone. Like 101 freeway? Or what do you, when you say 101, Bill, what do you mean? 101? 101? Dalmatians? Doggies? Or? Right, I'm being silly. All right, so look, there's 2 things I'm going to just drop out here before I get into the main topic of today, which is 5 scary sales training stats and what to do about them. 2 things. Number 1, if we go over to, let's just take a look at what's trending on Twitter, shall we? The first thing, hashtag Cruz Sex Scandal. Unfortunately, it's not UFC fighter Dominic Cruz, it is Ted Cruz. Hashtag Cruz Sex Scandal. 461,000 tweets. #1 year without Zayn. Hashtag SA versus WI. Hashtag 3 years of the way. Easter is trending. That's kind of cool. Hashtag make a film successful started trending in the last hour. Elena at store launch just started trending. Nexer, 8 days left, started trending in the last hour. Beverly Cleary just started trending. Listen, here's my point, okay? Cruz Sex Scandal. Who gives a... People, don't get distracted. Do not allow yourself to get distracted. The media is out there to keep you in a place of average. They have a lot of medication to sell you, and they don't want you leaving the couch. This is doing nothing for you to help you accomplish your goals, your dreams, and create your future. It doesn't quite, I haven't really clicked on Cruz Sex Scandal. It doesn't quite, frankly, matter who is having sex with whom, or in what manner, or how, is not going to put more money in your pocket, is not going to help you take care of your family any better. None of these guys, Trump, Cruz, Hillary, Bernie, none of these people are going to come to your house and make your dreams come true. None of them. Don't get distracted. Stay focused. Stay on target. Remember that in Star Wars? Stay on target. Okay? Stay on target. That's the point. Okay? Two things. Second thing. Today's Good Friday, which means Sunday is Easter. And when I was a kid, I went to a Catholic school, so didn't go to school on Friday. And I would hang out with my mom. And we would go to the Stations of the Cross at noon and do that. And then we would come home and we would listen to Jesus Christ Superstar on vinyl. We did that pretty much every year when I was a kid. And we didn't do a lot of talking between the hours of noon and 3, because that was the time when Jesus was on the cross and when Jesus was suffering and transitioning from this plane to the next. 3 days later, he pops out, rises from the grave. I told you so. I told you. Right? So the point of that, and the reason I'm mentioning that, is that I want you to take some time today. And it doesn't really matter where you fall on the religious spectrum. What I want to do, or what I want to invite you to do, is to think about what happened for Jesus the man. Forget Jesus the deity for a second. You have a person, you have an individual with this incredibly high level of conviction and belief and certainty. Okay, so much so that he's willing to die for it. Okay? He sacrificed everything for something greater. So what I want to invite you to do and challenge you to do is just take a couple moments today to really think about, what is my bigger purpose? What's the big thing, right? What is something that is greater than me, and are you sacrificing? So one of the things one of the things that Grant says that I love is everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. So just spend some time today in silence, quiet moment. Go to your fortress of solitude, because Batman versus Superman's coming out this weekend. So go to that, whatever that is for you. And just spend some time putting all your attention on your bigger purpose, on your why, what you're doing on this planet, okay, and what are you willing to give up to create your goals and your dreams and what you want in life, okay? Jesus spent 3 hours on the cross suffering, suffocating, and bleeding to death. If you know anything about how crucifixion works, just way better ways to die. But he spent that time sacrificing for the greater good. So what is your greater good? What are you willing to give up? Okay, so there's that. Now let's get into these 5 scary sales training statistics. And then more importantly, what the heck are we going to do about them? So I got notes. Hold on. Bill says, holidays are here. Fish-only meals or vegetarian type only today. No meat. That's right. Man, Bill, you're old school. Bill, are you Anglican by any chance? Or are you, where do you fall on that? Just curious. Best in IMAX. Oh, IMAX. Yeah. I wish I had one close. All right, so hey, let's get into this. The first scary sales training statistic is 55% of salespeople lack basic selling skills. If you are out in the public and you deal with salespeople, do you feel like maybe that stat might be even a little bit low? I do, and I'll tell you why. Because let's define a salesperson first of all. Who is that? Is that just some guy that gets paid commission? And then, what's a commission? So, in my opinion, I believe that if you're a customer-facing employee, you're part of the sales team. You're in the sales department, even to a minor degree, because you're either selling somebody on why they made a good decision to reach out to your business, or you're selling them on why they probably should have gone down the street and why they probably are about to go down the street. So everybody that talks to customers in any respect is part of the sales team. So then therefore, you want your people, even if they are customer service only, to have a solid foundational understanding of what selling is. Does that make sense? So the interesting thing that I didn't really mention about that, or haven't, so this might increase it to 6 sales training stats, but here's where it gets interesting. 50% of all the managers that we talk to and that we've interviewed, like literally 50, have all communicated to us that they're literally too busy to coach, train, and develop their people the way they want. I don't think that's a coincidence. Half the salespeople, just a little over half of the salespeople, lack basic skills, and then half of the leadership is like, there's too much going on. I can't. It's not even, I'm busy. You know? So if it's, if you're a leader in an organization and you're trying to help a customer yourself, you're trying to also help another salesperson with that a different customer. You're taking a phone call. You've got somebody who's frustrated. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. You haven't taken your lunch break yet. You got to leave at 3 because your kid's got a soccer game that you promised you'd go to and you've missed the last 3. Like all that's going on. When are you going to coach a salesman? Like, is that even, you know what I mean? Like, so that's not a coincidence. So I'm going to touch on what my suggestion is on that and how this helps in just a minute. But what I would, at the very least, the bare bones minimum, make sure that every single employee that you have in your company has a fundamental and foundational awareness of selling, what it is, some basic sales techniques in terms of understanding what's important to the buyer, in terms of how to be in agreement or alignment with a person. That's customer service right there, right? About how to take them through a process and move to another step. Those things are invaluable. I mean, if we could just, as a company, just get the entire customer service community on and understanding the magic of agreement, Yelp would go out of business. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, here's where it gets in. So now we're going to talk about what to do about it a little bit. Okay, every dollar that is invested in training and development, sales training and development, produces typically a $30 ROI or more. So I'll read this out to you, okay? Every dollar invested in sales training returns $30 in incremental revenues. So there was a post on LinkedIn by a woman named Sue Withers. She says she busts the sales training is a myth, or sales training is an expense myth, when she shows that every dollar invested in sales training can generate $29 to $30 back in incremental revenues. She cites a leading telecom firm that actually invests about 7% of their payroll in training. They've averaged a 20% productivity improvement over the last 4 years. So every year they get 20% better. and then they take 7% of their payroll and they dump it into training and development. Okay? The competitors of this telecom firm are averaging 2 to 5% annual increase. And these guys are at 20. So, would it make sense to duplicate that formula? Is there a way to maybe look at your payroll and budget out 7% of it and say, hey, we're going to put this into a training program for our people? Doesn't even have to be Cardone. So imagine that, like a $50,000 investment in training, based on those numbers, would be another $1.4 million in incremental revenue. 50 grand equals 1.5 or 1.4, $1.5 million bucks. Not a bad deal. Can't get that in the stock market. Couldn't even get that in a sports book. Okay, so number 3. Scary sales training statistic number 3. 2/3. This one's fascinating to me. I thought this was really interesting. 2/3 of employees believe that leadership doesn't get enough training. So that means, these people went out, a company called Delta Point, they go out and they interview salespeople. 2/3 of the people that they talk to are like, my managers don't know what they're doing. They believe that leadership doesn't get enough training. So that means, if you really like, what's the big picture there? That means that leadership isn't trusted. Nor are they taken seriously. Okay? That is scary. So, a lot of times people wind up in a management position because they were good salespeople. But it doesn't mean they're good leaders. Right? Think about if you're in a sales industry now, think about it for a second. How many managers have you talked to or interacted with that just came up the ranks because they were good at what they did? This guy was good with service. This guy was good with sales. Let's give him a leadership position. Doesn't mean he knows how to lead. Doesn't mean he knows how to motivate people. And more often than not, they don't get the training and support that they need to be effective at what they do now, because it's a whole different deal. Okay, so what do you do about that? Not only do you make sure that your sales and your customer service people have fundamental skills and development in terms of selling, but that means you got to make sure that your management and your leadership are being trained and developed as well. And in fact, you would probably fare better off by investing more in making sure that your managers rock than your salespeople, because it would trickle down. Right? Not a bad idea. Okay. So, if you're not freaked out already, check this out. 84% of all sales training is lost in 90 days. So Grant does seminars. Not as much as he used to, but he used to do seminars. He'd spend 200 days on the road. And one of the things that we would hear from clients when we go sell seminar tickets is, yeah, I'm in, tell you what, we love it when Grant's in town. If our salespeople can just pick up one new thing, it'll be worth it. Well, here's the reality of it. That's really all they're going to pick up is one new thing. Because in 90 days, 84% of what they learned, gone. Like it never happened. Why? You got to repeat stuff. If you want it to stick, you got to have repetition of the content, repetition of the material, and you got to do that with some level of frequency. It takes 24 hours to get rusty, sometimes less. Okay? So if you don't repeat something, it's gone. If you don't use it, you lose it, right? Okay? Same thing goes with sales training. You can go spend, and the average attention span in America at this day and age is about 18, 20 minutes. So you send somebody to a 4-8 hour seminar or even a 3-day workshop in 90 days, 84% of what they learned was gone. Okay? So you have to find, in your training and what you're doing, you got to find things that can be done consistently and almost daily. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay? Fifth one. Less than 1/3 less than 1/3 of all sales reps are motivated and engaged at any given time. Okay, so you go to a car dealership, you go to a furniture store, you take all the salespeople, only 1/3 of them are in the game right now. The other 2/3 are doing whatever they're doing. They're playing Call of Duty in their mind. They're on the phone with somebody else. They're checking Facebook. They're doing Twitter. They're stuck on the news. Okay, they're freaked out about the Ted Cruz sex scandal. They're not paying attention to what's real and what's going to actually help them. Hey, what's up, Robin? Robin just popped in. Roy Ben. Roy, nice to see you. Welcome. Who else just popped in here? Someone's got a nice sunset. Mike. Hey, Mike, welcome. Thank you for being here. I love your profile pic. That's a beautiful sunset. So just to catch you guys up, we're talking about 5 different scary sales stats and then what to do about them. And I'm going to get into this what to do about them right now. So what have we talked about so far? I'm going to recap for you guys. 55% of salespeople lack basic selling skills. Every dollar invested in training equals $30 back. 2/3 of employees believe leadership do not get enough training. 84% of sales training is lost in 90 days. Okay? And then less than 1/3 of all sales reps are motivated at any given time. So, what's the grand lesson? Number 1, make sure, if you've got a sales team, if you have customer-facing employees, number 1, if you have customer-facing employees, number 1, consider them part of the sales team. And then number 2, train everybody in the basics, in the fundamentals. And a great way to do that is with Grant's book, Sell or Be Sold. If you haven't read it, grab a copy of yourself. Go to sellerbesold.info for more information on the book. But that will lay up anybody with the fundamental, core, foundational tips, techniques, and data that they need to be effective as a sales professional. Okay? Motivation, that's right. Okay, so that's the first step. If you don't have that book, grab it, sellerbesold.info. You can get everything you need to know about that book. And if you want to if you've got a sales team and you're stumbling on this, maybe you're seeing this on YouTube later, and you want a bulk order, call me at 310-777-0352, and I can talk to you about a bulk order. Okay. Every dollar, so the company I was talking about earlier, they put 7% of their payroll budget into training and development. Right? So think about that. I don't know what that number looks like for you, but I got a program over here that I'm going to touch on in just a second called Cardone University that we can use with you to, number 1, lay that foundation virtually from any desktop, tablet, laptop, smartphone. Okay, if you can access the internet, you can use this program where it'll lay the foundation like I was just talking about, where there's management training and development in there, and there's material in there for managers to use to do this. Make sure that all of their salespeople are motivated and in the game every single day. Not just 1/3, 3/3, which is all of them. Okay? I can show you how to do that with this program. 84% of the sales training is lost in 90 days. I'll show you how to dial in content that solves that unique problem that's keeping a salesperson or a sales team from increased production. 15-30% is usually what we shoot for when we bring this program on. It's called Cardone University. If you haven't seen it, hit the website. I will set you up with 3 days free access to that program. I got a sneeze coming on. What does it mean when you sneeze like that? Hey, Robin's got a question here. Ray, sorry. Ray wants to know if I have any personal connection with Grant. So Ray's new. Yes, Ray. I work for Grant. I work from home. I'm a 1099 employee. My title is Sales and Marketing Manager. I've been working with Grant for the last 5 years. I've been studying his material since 2003. I went from barely surviving in sales to thriving in it in a very short period of time thanks to Grant. And so in 2011, I came to work with him to give that back to the people. Bless you. Thank you. Yeah, that was a big one. So For those of you that are hitting this thing up on YouTube after the fact, or you're watching the restream on Catch, or maybe even on my Meerkat page, CardoneUniversity.info will give you a once-over as to what that program is about, but I am happy to set you up with 3 days free access to that program. And what we'll do in a very short phone conversation is I will set you up with access. I will walk you through exactly what a day in the life of the program looks like, how you can use it to lay a foundation for all of your salespeople and customer service, how to get your managers tuned up, okay? Keep your management motivated and focused and on point, and give your management the tools they need to make sure that every one of your salespeople are solving the problems that are preventing them from being more successful and what the entire group is struggling with, so that they're motivated and on point every single day. Okay. Website again, CardoneUniversity.info. If you want to take me up on this 3 days free trial, email me, david@grantcardone.com. Call me direct, 310-777-0352. Ray, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm popping in here every weekday, Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon Pacific Standard Time, to deliver a noontime nugget about sales, business, and or life. For those of you that celebrate it, happy Easter to you. Ray, Ray wants to know, do you think he would want to come to Israel for a visit? Yeah, totally. If you've ever promoted a seminar and you'd like to get Grant out there, I think Tel Aviv would be awesome. Jerusalem would be great. Shoot me an email, david@grantcardone.com, and I'd be happy to have a discussion with you about booking Grant to come out and speak to either a group or do a seminar. Again, happy Easter, everybody. If you're in Israel, Ray, shalom. Thank you guys for hanging out. Have a great weekend. See y'all on Monday.